You are aware that KPA plays a very, very integral role in line with its mandate, where you are expected to develop, maintain, operate, improve and regulate the Port of Mombasa and of course other attendant ports and seaports along the coastline. And in line with that, you have set for yourselves a very, very ambitious vision of being the world-class ports of choice. It is easier said than done. To be a world-class port of choice, it has implications. It has implications in terms of timelines for delivery of services. It has implications in terms of efficiency. It has implications in terms of effectiveness and optimality in the level of operations, which you need to conform to. That is why in your mission statement you are striving to provide efficient and competitive port services, because you are not the only player in this field. There are other players in the field, such as the Port of Dar es Salaam, for example. And to maintain the level of performance and position yourself effectively in the market, efficiency and effectiveness is key. Specifically for today, we are here to evaluate the 2023-2024 performance contract. You are aware that as part and parcel of the overall government performance management framework, state corporations are expected to enter into annual performance contracts in line with their mandates on one hand and also the strategic plans on the other. You are aware that our overall government policy framework and development agenda is today anchored on the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which is aligned to both the MTP4 and the Vision 2030. In line with that, again, you have developed a strategic plan covering the period 2023-24 to 2027-28, which is aligned to both the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Implementation of that strategic plan, good people, is facilitated by annual work plans. So for the period 2023-2024, you had an annual work plan for that period. And in line with the annual work plan, subsequently you entered into a performance contract with the government, committing yourselves to meeting certain deliverables, both quantitatively and qualitatively, in line with your mandate. And in respect to the same, there are certain strategic objectives that you set out to pursue within the same period. And one of them was to attain a customer satisfaction index of 75%, improve port efficiency by 35%, increase the common transit market share by 7%, attain a profitability level of 20 billion shillings by the year 2027-2028, enhance the employee productive index to 2, and promote 100% conformity, or ensure 100% conformity to legal, regulatory requirements in tandem with the principles of good governance. And to realize that, in line with your core mandate, you did commit yourself to certain minimum deliverables. One of them was to develop the Dongokundu Free Port, and of course undertake general port development of the entire port of Mombasa, increase the cargo throughput, reduce the container ship turnaround time, attain truck turnaround time at the port, increase gross crane productivity, realize truck turnaround time at the inland container depot, attain the required rail crane productivity levels, avail operational ferry vessels, facilitate ease of doing business for everybody who is utilizing the port of Mombasa, ensure that there is return on investment by way of prudence in all your investment portfolios, undertake compensation for fishermen. This, I think, mostly for the port of Lamu. Ensure that you meet the required project completion rate so that you don't embark on projects and then they are abandoned midstream. Reduce the container ship working time. Realize berth productivity levels. and also attain the required system uptime so that there is consistency or sustainability in the operations of the port. In all those areas of interventions, good people, there were targets, specific targets that were to be realized within that activity period. And also we had indicators of performance for each intervention. So what we are here to do now, because that contract was signed subsequent to a consultative and participatory process, the contract was verified, ratified by both sides of the contracting parties. So we are basically here to ascertain the veracity or otherwise that what you committed yourselves to achieve has been realized for that activity period. So at this point in time now, we don't have the leeway to vary the indicators. We don't have the leeway to vary the targets that were set, discussed, and agreed on at that point in time. So we are basically looking for evidence of performance, empirically verifiable evidence of performance. Moving forward, the government is taking the performance management framework very, very, very seriously. Gone are the days when performance evaluation used to be undertaken for the sake of it. We want to ensure that the project is as objective as possible so that those organizations which excel in performance also attract certain rewards, including but not limited to enhancement of budgetary provisions that are approved for each financial year. But equally, on the flip side of it, if there are organizations which are perpetually underperforming, there is no justification why the public should keep on spending money on those type of organizations. They should be allowed to die their natural death. That is the way we manage organizations today. Organizations must justify their existence in line with their mandate. To augment this process of performance management again, we are going to anchor performance evaluation and performance management into law. We already have a draft bill, performance management bill, which will soon be getting its way into Parliament so that it can undergo the necessary processes towards enactment into a performance management act so that the results of performance appraisal can be legally enforceable, backed or anchored on strong legal foundation. I also want to encourage you, and we will facilitate this, because you operate in an environment where you rely on other players to deliver on your mandate, other government agencies or other stakeholders to deliver on your mandate. Moving forward, we will ensure that we have service level agreements between KPA and other sister organizations which are also involved in the operations of the port, so that each and every organization meets its obligations within the stipulated timelines. We don't want a situation where certain organizations don't deliver on their mandate and it negatively in turn impacts on the performance of other organizations. So we will ensure that in each and every operational environment where we have got multiplicity of players by way of government agencies, those government agencies will have to enter into service level agreements. Like for your case, we expect a service level agreement between the Kenya Ports Authority and the Kenya Bureau of Standards, the Kenya Ports Authority and the Kenya Revenue Authority, just to mention but a few. Committing each and every organization to deliver on its mandate within the stipulated timelines to facilitate efficiency and effectiveness in service delivery, so that each and every entity is committed to meeting the timelines by way of service delivery, so that underperformance of one organization does not impact on effective execution of the mandate of another institution.
Waziri and the whole team, good morning again. Good morning. On my side, Waziri, I just want to first welcome you to Kenya Ports Authority. We are happy to have you here. It has been a long journey, but we thank God we are here today. I want to also just reiterate what my MD has just said. We've been taking this issue very seriously. And at the board level, we've had several discussions with the MD and the management to make sure that we attain what we had agreed with the national government on matters performance contracting. So the other issues which my MD has just mentioned is that most of the issues which are affecting us, especially on operations, not on the board side, are the other stakeholders or the other government agencies which we are supposed to work hand in hand. If we have a seamless operation with the other agencies, then I think the other issues maybe which might be raised here will not be there on the table. So we want also for you to take that home. Maybe when you're sitting on the other side with the other teams, let them know that KPA cannot work alone. Even if we work, we do our best, but we might not have the best performance because of the other factors. So we thank you, and this team here, led by the MD, is ready to work. And I really want to appreciate, especially the president recognized them on Saturday. It was on Friday, and this shows how committed they are in making sure that we deliver what the government has requested us to do.
We've done our side ourselves as KPA, we've done self-assessment, and I want to say that the evaluation we are doing today is for the 2023-2024, and it shows a serious commitment from the management and the board that in whatever we undertake to deliver, we will do. But following our discussion on the side talk, I think you realize also that whereas as KPA we have targets that are just within KPA, but where now we have other government agencies that are supposed to, support us, or some external factors that sometimes, derail us. We would have also recommended that going forward in future, the criteria of evaluation also should be considered in issues that are outside our control. What should we do? Because as I was giving you a very good example, when you go for the truck turnaround time, the truck turnaround time is 3 hours. But when a truck comes here and we have other government agencies that needs to harm those things, the trucks need to go for scanning, needs to do all those things, the scanners are not working, the RECs are not working. At the end of the day, what PC evaluates is what is actual, not those external factors. But we would want to say that maybe going forward, some of these things we would also be evaluated based on commitment from the institution and the external factors also that affect us. We have issues again where, we agree that a project is supposed to take place within a short time or within certain timings, because based on our evaluation ourselves, we can say the process can take us 6 months. But now, when we are taken to court, when other external factors affect you, PC doesn't know that, and PC doesn't take into consideration. So I think, to me, what I would want to say is that as KPA, from the management and the board, we are committed, and we've done whatever it takes on our side to ensure that we have achieved the targets that we had set. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank my chair and the board for the support they have given us. For us to be where we are, it is because of the board, and it is because of the stewardship of our chairman, and also the government, the support the government has given us. We wouldn't have been where we are without the support of the government, the national government, and also our board. So I will not want to say much because it's a self-assessment we've done ourselves. Now it is your day. So allow me to invite my chairman to give his opening remark, and then we allow you to proceed.
So to let you know, the governance mission is a technical mission. So it is separate from the program, and we are guided by the overarching IMF's 2018 framework on enhanced engagement on governance. So this is the setting that we'll be using for the governance mission that we've been using with many countries over the last few years. And it's really designed to help you provide a holistic approach to addressing governance, weaknesses and corruption vulnerabilities that you may have in your state functions, and then our focus is on macroeconomic critical areas. So it's not all of government, it's the macroeconomic critical areas that we'll be focusing on. So we'll be analyzing and we'll be recommending actions for addressing these corruption vulnerabilities and other governance issues that we might see that would impact your macroeconomic stability. And so we'll also be examining the severity of corruption vulnerabilities across 6 core state functions. And let me give you those core functions. So you have fiscal governance, and this is a huge one because this has several parts. You have expenditure policy, you have public financial management, tax policy, and revenue administration, which is both tax and customs. Then we'll be looking at the central bank governance and operations, the fiscal sector oversight, market regulation, rule of law, and anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism. They all go together. But the parameters will be defined by Kenya's specific situation. So not every governance mission is the same because it depends on how your government is set up and also the areas that we see that we'll start looking at and at how it will be designed over not just the scoping mission, but over the time of the entire governance diagnostic. Just so you know, we'll be seeking input from multiple sources, so I really appreciate you providing about the Council of Governance, and especially we do know about the devolved system, and I think this is a critical area that we'll make sure that we're looking into to make sure we understand the full scope and make sure we have their input as well. We'll be meeting with multiple government offices, as well as private sector, civil society, and international partners, so our other development partners. I also, to let you know, because we've done a lot of capacity development in a lot of the areas, we will be using and looking at things that have already been done on the ground, so we're not starting from zero. And then we actually have the team already pretty much assembled. It's a pretty large team. I think I have 11 so far on the team, because you're a big country. And it's important that we have good technical people. And they'll be working starting now until the governance mission as well, working from their desk, getting information. We'll be requesting information to your team. By the end of this month, I expect to have the first set of requests of information and data that we'll be requesting from the different offices. And then they'll be on the scoping mission, on the diagnostic mission, which will plan the dates with the PS, but sometime in June we'll come for 2 weeks for the full diagnostic mission. But there will be a lot of pre-work before that, so it's not just the 2 weeks. At the end of the mission, we will be providing some type of draft of what the findings are and our recommendations. And the recommendations will be such that they'll be prioritized. They won't be 250 recommendations because no government can handle that. They'll be prioritized by the state function and they'll be sequenced over the medium term to help you look at where, how you can put together a plan that would work for the government.
The objective of this, and which we agree, is to have a second set of eyes that looks at how, as a country, we've been operating, whether it is the revenue governance framework, expenditures, including debt management and other PFM areas. And it is timely, sir, because as you are aware, we are beginning actually this week, towards the end of the week, there will be another mission to take stock of the current program and to reflect on the future program. And therefore, as the Res Rep has observed, we think this will enable us to identify areas which may be weak that we can begin addressing into the future. The other important exercise that is ongoing, as you are aware, we were grey listed through the FATF process. We've made very good progress in that respect. We had about 19 areas that were non-compliant. The last mutual evaluation exercise, a number of those areas have progressed either to partial compliance or even to full compliance. A good example would be the policy framework for crypto assets that was noted to be lacking and therefore exposing the country. We made good progress, but there are still some areas that are lagging behind, and I know one of the focus areas would also be around matters AML and how they interface with public finance or fiscal governance issues. So it is relevant. We at the Treasury are looking forward to engaging on both the governance diagnostics, and we are also ready for the discussion, to commence discussion on what the future program is likely to be. So we welcome this exercise.
Yeah, so that's what good governance is about, and I want to thank you.
Who is the focal point, and a good number of the people here, some of them will be.
I just want to say thank you again, and from the big picture,
to interact with the Office of the Attorney General, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the anti-graft entities that we have, KRA, and perhaps in certain instances some of the key public enterprises. Not all, but maybe some, maybe of special interest, the ones that perhaps I would call are extremely pivotal in the economy. These could be important. I think the other people you may want to talk to is the Council of Governors. This is for the devolved units, because we are a devolved system, and the issue of the governors and how county governments are run and managed, that will be a function constitutionally that you would need to have a conversation with the governors, and not necessarily the national government. In some extent, yes, but I think it would be a big omission if we came up with recommendations or suggestions and we did not get the input of the county governments, because then they'll say we are imposing issues on them. So I don't know whether you had factored that into your scoping. I think it would also be good for us to hear from you where you would see this going, and perhaps if it will have implications on our conversations on a new program, so that everybody is aligned so that we do something, but also it's good for people to know what is the end game. What do we want to achieve? You know, it's absolutely essential. In order to get a proper buy-in, we have to carry people along. There could be consequential pieces of legislation that will then require amendments as a result of this exercise. And that is why it's important that we don't have just sight of the process, but we have sight of the end game. What is the objective?